Hello students, welcome back to class. In the last class, we talked about protection of human rights in the society. We looked at the various human rights that we have in the society, and then we identified some groups and individuals who help to protect human rights in the society. Now, we are going to be moving forward in this class, and we are going to be talking about consumer rights and responsibilities in the society. So we are going to be looking at the various rights and responsibilities of a consumer in the society. Now, at the end of this class, you should be able to know who a consumer is. You should be able to explain who a consumer is. 2, you should be able to explain consumer rights. You should be able to explain what we mean by consumer rights. And 3, you should be able to mention the various rights of a consumer in the society. And 4, lastly, you should also be able to mention the various responsibilities and duties of a consumer in the society. Now we are going to move forward. Who is a consumer? When you hear consumer, what comes to your mind? A consumer can be seen as someone who acquires goods or services for direct use rather than acquiring goods and services for resale or for use in manufacturing of other products. So a consumer is the end user of a product. He or she uses such products for his own personal use. A consumer can also be seen as one who buys or uses things, goods, services, products for his own personal use. Unlike the retailer who buys it for distribution or for reselling, a consumer solely buys goods for his own personal consumption. A consumer has the responsibility of deciding whether or not to buy a product or whether or not to use a product. So the consumer has that responsibility to decide out of a wide range of products. He can decide for himself and can choose whatever product that he or she wants to use without any form of coercion or interference from the manufacturer. Moving forward, we are going to be talking about consumer rights. What are consumer rights? Consumer rights are rights that protect the consumer from harm in the society. It ensures a level of protection for consumers in the society. These rights also protect the interests of consumers in the society. It gives them the liberty to choose from a wide variety of products. It helps them to know what a consumer has put in a product, and also gives them the right to fight every form of exploitation from the producer or the retailer. Manufacturers and producers of goods and services should bear in mind that consumers have certain rights that no one should take away from them, and they must take note of these rights and make sure that when they are producing their goods and services, they produce them according to the guidelines of these rights. We are going to be looking at some of the rights of a consumer in the society, some of the rights that ensures the protection of consumers in society, a right that gives the consumer autonomy and justice in case of exploitations from the retailer or the manufacturers. Number 1, we have the right to safety. The right to safety of all consumers in the society. The right to protection from harmful products and services in the country. So a consumer should have the right to safety and protection from harmful products and services in the country. The consumer has the right to be informed about the quality, the quantity, the price, and standards of goods and services in the society. Now, this will help the consumer to make informed decisions and enable such consumer to make wise decisions and act responsibly. Now, it will make the consumer to be able to pick from a wide variety or a wide range of products and services in the society. Number 3, the right to choose. Now, a consumer has the right to pick from a varieties of products and services in the society. Now, most times this product comes with competitive price. The consumer has a right now to weigh his options and pick whichever product that appeals to him or her without being forced either by the manufacturer or by the retailer. So the consumer has the right to choose whatever product he or she wants to buy or use. Number 4, the right to be heard. If a consumer is dissatisfied with a product used or services that has been rendered to him, that consumer has the right to complain about such product or such services, and the appropriate authority ought to take the complaint of the consumer seriously and work on it. So a consumer has the right to complain and to also be heard. Number 5, right to redress. Now, right to seeking redress against unfair practices and exploitation of a consumer. Now, consumers must be able to make complaints and talk about their genuine grievances about a product, and should also be able to get fair settlements in cases of bad products, either repairs, replacement or refund of such products. Number 6, right to consumer education. The consumer should have the right to acquire knowledge and skill about the product he or she is about to use. Ignorant consumers are most times exploited, so it is important for consumers to attain a level of education about the product, a level of education and information about the product and services that they need to use. Now, moving forward, we are going to be looking at consumer responsibilities. What are consumer responsibilities? Consumer responsibilities are things that are expected of a consumer in the society. Duties that are expected to be carried out by a consumer in the society. Now, we have some of these responsibilities. We have number 1, to be alert, to take action, to solidarity with other consumers in the society, to show social concern, and environmental awareness. So we are going to be picking them and explaining them one by one. Number 1, a consumer ought to be more alert. Now, a consumer ought to be more alert and to be able to ask questions about the prices, quality, quantity of goods and services in the society. A consumer has the responsibility to know what a manufacturer has put in a good, to know the pricing of the good, and should be able to know the quantity of a good that he or she wants to buy. Number 2, action. A consumer ought to act to ensure that he or she gets fair deals on products and services in the society. So a consumer has the responsibility of acting to make sure that he gets fair deals, to make sure he bargains well and gets fair deals on products and services in the society. Number 3, a consumer ought to stand in solidarity with other consumers in the society. He or she should be able to raise hands and voices together with others to fight for disputes, to fight against exploitation, and to also influence or promote their interests in the society. Now, whenever they feel that they are being exploited by the producer, they should be able to stand up together to fight against every form of exploitation. Number 4, social concern. A consumer should be aware of the effects of the consumption of a product or the use of a service on other citizens in the society. Now, especially its effect on the disadvantaged and the poor in the society. Number 5, environmental awareness. A consumer has a responsibility of knowing and understanding the environmental impact and consequences of the consumption of goods on the environment, either negative or positive, and should be able to stay away from goods and services that
has a negative impact on the environment. He or she should also be able to recognize their individual and social responsibility to conserve the natural resources and protect the earth from harm. So we have come to the end of today's class. I hope you enjoyed it. We talked about consumer rights and responsibilities. Consumer rights and responsibilities helps to safeguard the consumer and protect the consumer from harm in the society. We have rights like the right to choose, right to be informed, right to consumer education, right to be heard, right to redress, right to safety. So thank you for watching. I'm going to see you in the next